Hello, today I want to go through one system that allows you to link multiple tables together. So let's go back with the same dataset that we used for the from a flat file to a star schema video, but I split it with 3 countries just to act like we have 3 tables that are sent maybe by our region manager that we need to aggregate. Well, those tables are identical, but they could be different. But in the end, we want to be able to filter them using something in common, which is the date. Usually the date and time periods are the core slices of a lot of reports, and even if some tables are not directly related to each other, you still want them to showcase figures that are linked to this one very basic information. And so that's why today what I want to do is create a calendar, a date table that we're going to relate to those, so that it's going to be our main pivot to filter through multiple tables at once. This way we don't even need to aggregate data from those tables in Power Query to create a new table. We don't need to make any kind of calculation. We just can do this easily. And this is going to start in our table icon, the data, and we're going to start a new table here, and it's going to open our DAX editor. So let's zoom in there a little bit, and you will see that they want you to name your measure or your table, and this is going to be this measure. This DAX formula is going to called calendar. And what we're going to do here is basically create a calendar, and we're going to use for that a formula. In your DAX formula, you're usually going to use calculations like sum, for example, and then you're going to get tables information in there. What that means is that I couldn't reference directly a table in there. Like I cannot reference Canada something unless I'm going to do something with it, right? And this is not going to do anything. I'm just going to return the same table I have. I could be returning any kind of value, but if I return if I put a formula, then inside of it I'm going to have to add table informations. And the one that we're going to use right now is called Calendar Auto, and let's just close it and see what it does. So what it does is it goes through your model, so all the data sets you have, and it checks out everything that's a date value, and then creates this table with dates fitting from the earliest point you have in your data to the latest. Here we go from the 1st of January 2013 down to the 31st of December of 2014, because this is what my data set spans in. But you can have one parameter in the formula, and in that case Calendar Auto just takes the one, but other formulas could take multiple. And here it's just like your fiscal year end, because obviously if your company is going to have a fiscal year finishing in July, then you want your table to stop sorry, in July. And so here the latest date in my whole table is going to stop at the end of July. But here we don't need this. We just want the Calendar Auto. What did that do? Well, if I go back in my report, I see that I have now, removing this annoying thing, a calendar tab on the right. And this calendar I can use in order to generate, for example, my slicer. So let's put it there, and boom, it's up there. But if I move it, nothing moves around there. See? Because this data set is not linked to the rest, and so we need to do that first. So let's go in the tables and link my dates together. So see, what's going to be interesting here is that when you link your calendar to your tables, you have a one-to-many relationship, which is way healthier for your model in general and for your calculations. Linking the tables together would have led to a many-to-many relationship, and this many-to-many relationship would imply a lot of complicated results if you had some more calculations to do, right? So here we are, everything's linked to the single table reminiscing of the star schema, And now we can see that here, if I move this, everything just updated right now. It's very practical. Can I do it sorry, by adding information to this table here? Well, let's get the hierarchy and add it in there, remove the quarters and days, and boom, I have everything. What's great is that all those values, if you add them in your figures, are going to be made as a date, and so you don't have to worry about ordering and filtering your date. Everything's going to be going in the good order, like September to November, September, November, then January, March, May. Everything's in order. You can filter your dates and months correctly with no issue whatsoever. And so yeah, that's it for your calendar. Then maybe we want to go a little deeper into that. Excuse me. And this is gonna be with our query. So here maybe you want to have a limitation that's even more precise, and that's what something I did, which is not first always relevant here, but that's relevant in some projects. You can filter your calendar, and if I do it, filter calendar, I can choose something, a way to filter it. And for example, you can filter it and say date, and I don't know, maybe something used as a month of date smaller than 2. And what is that gonna do? Well, if I check it out, you can see that you have nothing past January, because you filtered every month that were more than 1, so 2 and more. Okay, and so this way I just returned what I needed. So you can remove months, weeks, any kind of value. And what I use that for is because I said date, and this is something you might want to use sometime. Let me zoom on that so it's easier for you. Date is smaller than today, and this way obviously you get this information where your max filter is going to stop at today, meaning that if you have informations that are added to your dataset for later on or something, it's not going to be displayed. Obviously here it doesn't work because the data is from 2014 and before, so we're going to stay here. One last information I wanted to go through is that in here, let's add a table and see what we get if I want to get my days. Well, in this table, days are gonna be the number of the day in the month, right? 1 to 31st, meaning that you can filter through every day of the month for your various data, which is something that's not very practical, right? You don't really need to work with days of the week this way. For months it's working alright. What if I add it as a slicer? Here I'm filtering through numbers again. And what if I wanted to be filtering or showcasing actual names of my days? Well, let's do this. And to do this, we're going to do something pretty basic and important for you to lay out your DAX, and it's creating variables. So I'm going to create a variable by calling it var, and I'm going to call it my calendar is going to be equal to a calendar auto. Okay, so this is not going to return anything. Like if I click enter here and stop, see I have an error because I didn't actually return a formula, I just created a variable, okay? And then I'm going to return something by simply writing down return, hold enter key to get to the next row, and then I'm going to add a column to this my calendar table, and I'm going to just write down add columns. And here, see, I told you could have multiple arguments in the one formula, and this one is telling you you need to add the table name that you're going to affect, and then as many times as you want. You can add a column by stating its name in quotations, because that's how you write down strings in the code, and the expression that's going to return what will be in every row. So let's make an example with that. With my calendar, which is my table, then let's go to the line to create a column, and I'm going to create my day column, which is going to be equal to, and this is when it gets tricky. So for a day, you could return day like this, but day is actually returning an entire date, like the 1st of January 2021. So this is not what we want. What we want is weekday, and weekday is going to return a number. So if I do this and I return the weekday of the date column, so of the date that's on the same row, okay, so if I do this, it's going to be more clear. Too few arguments. What did I do? Oh, my bad, I put an equal sign there and it shouldn't be an equal sign. Okay, so see that what we're doing here is returning, and this is gonna be tricky to see there. Can I do something about that? I don't think so. So let's just cut the zoom for now. What you're returning here is that for for every date in the same row, you're gonna say what is the day that is associated to it. But here we're returning a number, and this number could be multiple things, because weekday can return the day number starting the week on Saturdays, Sundays, or Mondays, for example. Meaning that here this could be anything, right? If we start the week at Sunday, this could be a Tuesday. If you start it at Monday, this could be a Wednesday. So how do we know that it's okay? Well, if I sort my dates ascending, you can see that I go from 3 to 7 and then I reset. So I loop from 1 to 7 correctly, which is what we want to have. But now I want to have the date names, and now I'm going to use something for that, and it's the formula format. What format's going to do is going to take a value and return it as and convert it as a different format of date. So meaning that here when we return 3, well, it's going to transform it in letters. And so just like in Excel, you need to put the code in, which is 3 Ds, symboling that, which is a symbol of the whole word being written down. If you have less Ds, you could have a shortened day name, like for example Mon for Monday. So here what's gonna happen, well, boom, see, our number 3 was in fact Tuesday, because we were starting the week on Sunday, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So now you have your column. If you go back into your report here and you want to have your slicer, you can now use this day value and have, oh my bad, we're going to use the day we created and not this one. And here you're going to have your list of actual days. Okay. Oh, but this is a weird order, right? This is not very instinctive, going from Friday to Monday to Saturday. So what can I do here? Well, how can I make that more practical? Because if I was to use those things in my figure here, well, yeah, everything's displayed from like Tuesday to Saturday, Sunday. Like, this is very awkward to read, right? Going through the week. So how can I have this filtered correctly? Well, maybe here, if I sort by days, I'm starting on Wednesday, so I'm gonna try ascending. I'm starting on Friday, so we're always doing this alphabetically. And this is exactly a problem you could have with months in the table if you don't have a date but actually months names. How do you solve this? Well, it's pretty easy, and we're gonna do it right now. So in your table, we're gonna add another value, and this value is gonna help us filter that column. So let's go back in our DAX and we're gonna add another value, so comma to the line, and we're gonna make a day filter value, and we're gonna say that this day filter value is gonna be, well, weekday of date. Okay, so now we can see that what we're getting is a number just like before that is associated to what we've got in our date column. So here everything's filtered with 3 as the first value. If I sort my date ascending, you can see that Tuesday, we have a week starting here on Tuesday and going up to Sunday. If I wanted my week to start on Monday and not Sunday, I need to add a parameter to my weekday, which is going to be the return type here, and they tell you 1, 2, or 3. And here you have a little I that tells you what it's for. So 2 starts on Monday, and now, boom, my Tuesday is the second day of the week in that scenario. And this is the core thing I needed, because now I have a numerical value associated to my string, to my day name, meaning that I can filter this day value numerically to order my days. And I can tell that to Power BI. So let's go and do it. Selecting my day column, I can go in the tools up there, and on those tools I'm gonna go on the button called sort by column. And what it does is that it allows you to sort a column primarily by another column instead of by itself. So here let's click and just choose. See that I should be on day to begin with because it's filtered by itself, but you can tell it be filtered by the day filter column. And now let's go to our report and see that the slicer is ordered starting on Monday. And even in our figure here, it's starting on Monday. If we go back and we change the value here to 3, we can have the week start at Tuesday. And if I go back and remove this, boom, didn't work. Let's try 1. Okay, and here we start on Sunday. Okay, I don't know why the other didn't work, but well, the point here is made. You can do that with anything, so it's a way for you to order any information that you want to showcase. You can even have a side table that's going to order things depending on how important they are for your report, so that some value is always on top of your graph, on top of your bar chart, on top of anything. So this is also very interesting to know, and it's usually mainly because of the months sorting that you end up learning about that. But this being said, I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about today, so see you around. Cheers.